Coming to you from the Hart Building in historic downtown Marysville. Getting into all the dirt from the gridiron game, it's time to huddle up with your host, Adam Avalos.
Welcome to the show, Huddle Up on 93Q. So glad to have you. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here. This is Christmas week. Merry Christmas, guys. I hope you guys all have a wonderful holiday. And before we start the show here, I want to show you tell you what Joe Burrow gifted his offensive lineman here. Here we go. Got a little clip here, Joe Burrow.
They wanted guns. And I was like, I don't know about guns, guys. And so I was in the weapon mindset, and I was like, what's a cool weapon? And samurai swords, I think, are pretty dang cool. And Nicole, she works for me, and she was able to go and find them for me. So she did a great job finding the best ones out there. So
we got Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a time of year when quarterbacks kind of, what's the word? Historically, it's like a little bit of a tradition here. Quarterbacks usually gift the offensive linemen, running backs. They'll sometimes do the same. Sometimes they're kind of small. Sometimes they're kind of, larger. But anyways, Joe Burrow gifted all his offensive linemen samurai swords. It sounded like they all wanted guns, maybe pistols, rifles. But he said, I'm not going to go with that. And so he gave them all samurai swords. From the article I was reading earlier, I don't have the quote on me, but it sounds like they were some pretty good samurai swords, one that a samurai might wield. What do you think, Keegan? Pretty good gift. If I gave you a samurai sword, would you be happy with that?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
What do you think, Josh? I'd be thinking, do not cut yourself, dude. Like, I've seen YouTube videos where like your finger, a nose is like gone. Samurai sword, sharp.
All I can think of is Step Brothers and all the stuff from that movie.
Ryan, would you like a samurai sword or a gun? Which one would you rather have?
I'd take a samurai sword, but you being the quarterback of the show, what are we getting? Are we getting pocket knives?
Yeah, you guys are getting pocket knives. Let's just put it this way: I make way less than Brock Purdy. we're gonna jump on to Brock Purdy because we were kind of talking about the samurai sword thing. I thought that was funny, Joe Burrow, but Brock Purdy, obviously probably one of the lowest paid starting quarterbacks in the NFL, came out this week. There's a little video. 49ers dropped it. He kind of comes into the O-line room and takes him outside and outside he has 5 Sequoias and 5 Toyota Tundras that he gave his offensive line. I was thinking about it. I mean, I remember one year, I believe like Mahomes or somebody got his offensive line some golf carts or something like that. That was pretty cool. But I can't remember a time when anybody got anything this big. Can you guys remember anything? Cars like that?
I wouldn't say they got something as big as his contract's worth during the year. I think that's all he makes.
Yeah, exactly.
10 vehicles at that price.
Exactly.
I can only imagine.
And we're kind of talking about it. He makes like $900,000 or something. Yeah. That's his base salary this year. He's got some, like John Deere sponsors him, and obviously Toyota does. That's like the thing right there. So a lot of people, when they saw the gift, they were saying, oh, well, Toyota just gave it. But still, I mean, however he worked it in his deal, it's still an expensive gift to get for your O-lineman. Don't you think, Josh?
He earned it either way.
Yeah. I wonder if that was do you think that was something that he put in like a long time ago? Or do you think that was something like Christmas came around and he was like, hey, what kind of deal can you give me on these Tundras?
I would like to know if it was fluid or not, but either way, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd love to know the origin of that. I was kind of doing some simple math. Even if he's getting it like, at cost or something, those things are like 70 to 80,000. A Tundra,
did you see?
It's like 70 to 80 grand.
I'm taking you watched the video.
Yeah, I watched.
They were not like your base models.
They
had some custom interior that were like Niner colors and stuff like that. My thing is on the back end, I want to see how they fought over who got what car.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting, huh?
Who gets the truck and who gets the SUV mom car?
Yeah. Those Sequoias, those Sequoias are really, really cool. I tell my wife, I have a Toyota 4Runner, and we talk about sometimes we wish we would have bought a Sequoia at the time. They're a little bit bigger, But I love a Toyota. Brock Purdy, obviously sponsored by them. I thought it was pretty cool, but yeah, I think everybody was kind of like, this guy doesn't make very much money, but he's giving these kind of extravagant gifts. It was pretty cool. But math-wise, if $50,000 for each of them, it was $500,000, if that's what he got him for or something close to that. $500,000 for a guy that makes $900,000. So we'll see. Maybe something I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll get the like a deeper background of the story.
He has some background. Maybe he's like getting to sign a contract coming up, and he has like some money coming into.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You know, he's probably got some money coming up, so he probably figured I'll just splurge a little bit. But segue into the actual Niners game. Niners lose again, 17-19 yesterday. Lose to the Dolphins. I don't know. To me, there wasn't many positive takeaways for the game. Debo looked pretty good. Debo had his best game of the season in a game that we didn't really need him to have a Debo game, but he played good. George Kittle played good as well. Brock Purdy's still doing some stuff that makes me a little bit nervous. I didn't really like some things that I saw out of Brock Purdy yesterday, but Josh, you're a Niner fan. Want to get your takeaway from the game yesterday. What did you see out of the Niners? The Dolphins, technically, they're still not out of it. They're still in the race, so they needed that yesterday. Niners out.
Well, the Niners gave themselves a chance to win. It was a 5-point game on the last drive, and I've noticed defenses are doing sort of the same thing with Purdy, where they're sending 5-6 guys rushing him, putting pressure on him, and then having 2 or 3 guys kind of read his eyes and go towards the ball. And it worked out for them with an interception yesterday.
Yeah.
And it happened in the game before against the Rams as well. And that's something Purdy needs to work on, because there's obviously a game plan on him. Yeah,
there absolutely is. I mean, and guys in the NFL are kind of starting to figure it out. I mean, this year you've seen, Purdy, he's human, he's I don't think Josh or Keegan, because we're all Niners fans, I don't think any of us think he's Josh Allen, Lamar or anything, but this season some of his deficiencies have been, kind of heightened and things like that because they haven't had the pieces that they had. I thought there was the interception that Purdy threw at the end of the game. I didn't really love that. Once again, he's forcing the football. It's only like first or second down right there. Live to fight another. I mean, I know he got nailed when he's throwing the football, but you just can't throw that. That was things that I used to see Jimmy G do, where it'd be like, we just can't throw it pick right here. We have more downs, and then he just does it. And I know he got hit, but that was something last year you never saw Purdy do. Like, only in the Ravens game did you see him make mistakes like that. And then this year he's been doing that a lot.
To be fair, you are missing a lot of weapons.
For sure.
So when you're trying to force feed 1 or 2 weapons, it's pretty easy. It's a lot easier to defend against you.
No, for sure. It's just like game awareness. You have to know where you're at and what the clock's doing, how many downs you have.
No, I agree with you, but I mean, you're also dealing with a 5th running back on your team trying to run the ball.
Sure. Yeah,
your running game is kind of non-existent now, so you're kind of leaning on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And when you only have Debo finally playing Debo's game, only maybe because he got force-fed the ball with Kittle, it's easier to game plan. It's a lot easier to game plan. It's easier to put a defensive scheme on. It's a lot easier on all around.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And the Dolphins actually have a good secondary.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Jalen Ramsey played a heck of a game yesterday. He was playing tough, and that's somebody that Debo and him kind of have a relationship together. I wanted to ask Keegan this because Keegan was kind of a little bit of a defender for Moody a few weeks ago, or we're at least kind of going back and forth on the stats. I mean, now you've seen him a little bit further. He missed another one yesterday. I mean, it's not just 3 points. I mean, these misses are changing the trajectory of the game. Shanahan, that was the first time he was visibly upset. You could see he threw the tablet down on the ground. I mean, he was just not happy with it. What do you think about Moody at this point?
Yeah, he even mentioned it in the post-game press conference as well. So I knew this question was coming to me, I looked it up. So he's actually, his season percentage of field goals made, 23 of 30. So he's like towards the lower end. He's actually ranked 31st in the league right now. So
he's got one bet. He's still better than one.
What is it? Why are they keeping him though, Josh? Is it because they drafted him with the 3rd round pick?
I think because they use such high draft capital on him that they're really waiting to see if he can work it out or not. Otherwise, they're going to have to look somewhere else, because it's clear since he's come back from the injury, he's got the yips. Even when he makes a kick,
exactly,
he's barely making them.
Yeah, you're right. They're never sailing right through the upright. And we've talked about it a lot. He doesn't have the distance. Like, he's not hitting 60-yarders. I mean, a 53-yarder is barely clearing the uprights. He has no more than that. And too, on the kickoff, I think they have Wisnowski doing the kickoff, right? Now they have this new punter, but he could never kick it off very deep either. And the Niners have had, their special teams is atrocious. It's got to be one of the last in the NFL. But as far as like returning it from the end zone, they've got to be the lowest in the NFL in that category too, because I've seen tons of people take it out to the 50-yard line on them when you just need to kick it. But yeah, I think it's. I said it a few weeks ago. It was time for Moody to go. This keeps being cemented every single week. I mean, I want the kid to do good. Obviously, I don't want him to miss field goals, but he's just missing way too many. Time for him to go.
I would like to see a change in the offseason.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you guys before we got off the Niners, because we're going to try to. Niners are out of it. That's my favorite team. I watch the game every Sunday, and so that's what we talk about a lot about the Niners. There's no doubt. But during the whole season, there's been like a huge overlaying like sentiment that the Niners kind of their championship years are over, that like they're kind of getting older, the players are kind of starting to we all know what's going to happen with Brock Purdy, he's going to get it, but people are thinking like, I don't know if people are thinking they don't have guys under contract or that the run is just over. And I wanted to get your guys' thought on that. What do you think, Keegan? Is the run over for the 49ers? Like next year, can they get back to a Super Bowl if they stay healthy?
I don't think the run is over for them.
Yeah.
I think that they've pretty much, although we expect that they may lose a few players, we don't know if Debo maybe is going to end up going to a different team next year. I think that by and large, they're going to have the same core group of people. The coaching staff is there. I think that they've shown over the last several years that they are a championship team. Maybe they've been a little unlucky with injuries. Maybe they just haven't quite got things right. But I expect them to get back contending next year.
Yeah, I do too. What do you think, Josh? What do you think? Let me go over real quick before I ask you, Josh. Though, because people are expecting that the Niners are going to lose a lot of talent this year. Here are the guys that are unrestricted free agents: Javon Hargrave, Charvarius Ward, Dre Greenlaw, Devondre Campbell, who we talked about last week, who's obviously not coming back. But then Jordan Mason, and there was one other guy, Talanoa Hufanga. Those are the only big guys. I mean, Hargrave's probably not coming back. I know they want to re-sign Greenlaw and maybe Hufanga, but I mean, Charvarius Ward, he looked pretty burnt yesterday. That Renardo Green guy came in and looked a lot better. So I'm not really understanding who they're actually going to lose that makes them all of a sudden not a contender, unless the argument is that they're just like a year older. But to me, Fred Warner's like still in his prime. Kittle's still in his prime. Like these guys are not old. So I don't really understand. I feel like that's more like wishful thinking by a lot of people who are tired of seeing the Niners win rather than like something based in something. Well, McCaffrey got a great rest this year, right? He should be all good next year.
Depending on his health, Greenlaw is probably the one guy on that list I would like to see brought back because obviously he's means a lot more to the team than just what he brings on the field. Everybody saw how the team reacted when he just got out there for this first game. But for the Niners, they've got still a solid core, but they're going to have to make a few decisions because they've got some dead cap coming up with all the restructured deals they've done. So they're probably going to have to cut a Debo or cut a guy or two that they don't like.
Yeah.
So for them, it's really going to come down to how they navigate the draft and how they continue to draft.
Yeah, there's been a lot of times. Yesterday wasn't one of them. But there's been a lot of times where I wondered if they didn't have Debo in the game, if they would have fared better the entire game. He's been that bad this season. Like in every other game, he's been that bad. What's his name? Chris. He's on the show sometimes. He likes the Dolphins. He was like kind of like he doesn't watch Debo every game, and so he was commenting that like, well, Debo doesn't look bad. And I was telling him, trust me, this is like the only game all season that he's played like that. He looked like he was running super hard.
He brought it for sure.
He brought it for sure. I don't know what got into him, but last thing I'll say about the 49ers is one reason why I don't think that there's going to be that much of a regression. In fact, I think that they'll still be there. Is the draft this year was so good. The last few drafts they were okay, and honestly, as times went on, like Jair Brown, some of those guys maybe not as good, but their draft this year, Ricky Pearsall, Renardo Green, that guy he's awesome, and he's going to be one of the reasons why Charvarius Ward goes. But Dominic Pooney, Malik Mustafa, Isaac Garendo, and Jacob Cowing, these are all some pretty good players that I think will be tearing it up in the future.
And I just want to add that Mustafa was gotten with the draft pick that they traded Trey Lance to Dallas for.
Yeah, so they were able to. They do pretty good in the middle rounds. Sometimes they totally miss in the first rounds, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't know. What do you think, Ryan? Niners kind of Super Bowl window closed. I mean, what would be the reasoning?
I don't think your Super Bowl window's ever closed when you have players that are over there playing like that. I mean, like you said, this year's been an injury-plagued year, not a year that it's the last contract. They need to win it to go it. I mean, age is going to catch them. Father Time always catches people. Debo took a step back this year. Ayuk's got to come back from a horrific knee injury.
Yeah.
McCaffrey, we really don't know what's going to come up with McCaffrey. Yeah. He hid that injury so well all year that no one really knew how the severity of it. And then he comes back and he only got a couple games, went down with a non-contact injury again.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't really worry too much about the run game. You get those other guys back that were producing this year. I think the team's
Mason,
okay.
Garendo. I mean, they that's the thing. They have reserves too, but all the reserves have been depleted. I mean, any season if this many injuries happens, I mean, you're just not going to do it on your fifth.
I would go out on a limb here, and I know Niner fans are going to hate this, but depending on how well McCaffrey heals back, I might look at trading him.
Yeah, maybe
because you have younger youth behind him. Maybe get something for him before he's really off the shelf.
Yeah, maybe so.
He's had injuries for a long time in his career. If you look back, he had his first year he was good, second year he was good, and then he went down with an injury and was out a lot. over in Carolina before he got traded.
Seems like, though, we were all talking about it, though, if Shanahan runs some kind of two-headed monster or gives Mason some carries,
at least do that.
They could keep McCaffrey healthy, but he's like so stubborn, he just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, I would definitely come back with a two-headed monster with the run game the way they produced this year.
Yeah.
Unless they retain money, too, I don't think they'll ever get back what is worth for McCaffrey if they trade him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get him out there to produce him a little bit and show that he's healthy again and then try to offload him.
Yeah, for sure.
If that's a thought process.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for indulging in my Niners deep dive. We're going to go to commercial break. Come on back for the second segment. We got a lot of fun things to talk about. Huddle Up on 93Q. I'm Adam Avalos with eXp Realty. I'm a born and raised third-generation Yuba Sutter resident who has lived in the area all my life. My office is located at 1429 Calusa Highway in Yuba City, providing commercial and residential services to Yuba Sutter and Butte counties. Whether you are buying or selling, I promise to treat you and your friends and family like my friends and family. More information about Adam Avalos Realtor can be obtained by phone at 530-933-3541 or by following Adam Avalos Realtor on Instagram or Facebook.
As we enter the rainy season and hope for rain, but not too much, we are thrilled to say that in Yuba County, we've made a ton of progress in improving our levee system and reducing our flood risk. But there is still much more to do. At Yuba Water Agency, reducing flood risk is job number one. We are preparing now for more frequent extreme storms. We're already seeing them. And we just want you to know that we are working hard to reduce your risk even more. Learn more about what the future holds at yubawater.org.
Welcome back to Huddle Up on 93Q. Second segment. So glad to have you.
With time, nearly tripped. Mahomes, first down. Mahomes, touchdown.
So Chiefs win again yesterday. Mahomes running into the end zone. He's made a few plays like that. He smashed Mustafa when they played the Niners earlier, but he did it to somebody earlier this season too, and that's the third time. He's a big boy. When he's coming at you, man, you got to put a hit.
That dad bod works, man.
Yeah, you got to put a hit on Mahomes for sure. Josh Allen, Lamar, those guys can run the football. We're watching Monday Night Football here. Really important matchup for the Green Bay Packers. They're leading 21-0, almost at half here over the New Orleans Saints. So we'll kind of keep in touch with that one. But Green Bay handily winning this game that they need. They could potentially get the 1 seed, right?
A win clinches a playoffs berth.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Okay.
And then after that, the seeding happens the next couple of weeks. But
okay.
this will clinch their spot.
Perfect. So we're watching that game here. Back to the Chiefs yesterday. Chiefs and the Texans play. A few things happened in that game that I think have some.
Actually played on Saturday.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was on Saturday. That has some playoff implications there. But what we want to talk about first is the Mahomes fumble. I watched it probably 18 times today. I saw it the other day too, but I wanted to watch it. And
if I would have got off early enough, I was going to go to Big Five here locally and get a referee jersey. A Chiefs jersey.
So there was another controversial play yesterday. Mahomes is he's about to get sacked, and the ball is right there in that gray area. Wouldn't you guys say? It's you wouldn't say it's going forward. You wouldn't. Yeah, it was. And then it gets knocked out of his hand, and then a Texans player picks it up, runs it all the way to that would have changed the game. The final score was only an 8-point margin, but then to make matters worse, the Texans get a personal foul for kind of whacking Mahomes in the face.
Does anybody watch that play?
I watched the play 18 times today.
Okay. Did you see 74? Was that not a hold on him either coming around the corner?
Yeah, exactly.
He's literally holding him. All I see is him holding the guy who's got Patrick Mahomes' elbow that causes the fumble.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff on the play.
That penalty wasn't called, though.
So, I mean, going around the table, I mean, what did you think of the play? I mean, it's just like, the thing is like, hey, maybe that play is not indicative of the NFL being rigged. You can't just point to that play and say it's rigged. But there's like too many occurrences that have happened this season now, and it just feels like something's up. And there's another guy in our group chat, Kelly, he seems to think that that's all hogwash or whatever, but it's just feeling weird. Every week, it gets decided by something like that.
Have you guys noticed the amount of times this season that the announcers will say something they feel about a play, and then all of a sudden the refs will huddle, and all of a sudden the play will get changed exactly the way the announcers are saying it should be?
Well, you're saying that the broadcast is in cahoots a little bit.
I'm saying they say things, and then New York or whoever is probably listening to it and then viewing the play and saying, "Oh, they're probably right." What's
been happening to my Raiders this whole time?
I feel like they're telling the refs. Could be,
yeah,
but I feel like they're in more communication with each other on plays.
And you're kind of, maybe, are you saying that they are wanting to make sure that not only they get to play right, but maybe more importantly that they get to play what the public thinks is right?
Well, the commentators obviously would know the script first, right?
Yeah.
Actually, so when that play occurred, I was actually at a barbershop in Yuba City. My son was getting a haircut, and they were watching it. And it was kind of comical because I'm watching it through the mirror on a reflection because it's on that side, and we're all like watching it, and I'm like, oh. Well, hand was going forward. I'll give him the incomplete pass.
Yeah,
I get that part. What's the flag about? And an automatic personal rough in the pass. I'm like, rough in the passer? I was floored, and everyone in the thing was like, can they make it any more blatant to hand the game to these guys?
Well, that's the thing. Like right now, it's kind of tongue in cheek. I think we're all secretly hoping that it's not rigged. I mean, because that would obviously change everything. But it just seems like they're kind of close right now. And I think the NFL at this point at least needs to pay special attention to it. They need to be making sure that the people the guys who are part of the crew for the officiating for a Chiefs game are just calling it like it is. You know what I mean?
New York better be listening to 93Q right now.
Yeah, they better be listening to 93Q.
Oh my God, they're catching on.
Go ahead, Gary.
So is Vince McMahon owner or anything involved with the NFL at all? Because this is what it sounded like.
Why is that?
WWNFL, baby.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, sometimes it absolutely does.
Right now.
Sometimes it absolutely does with all the Taylor Swift stuff last year. But this year's just been crazy because, they're still going to make the playoffs. Who knows? They'd probably still be a 1 seed. But it's just like they've only lost one game right now, right?
One game.
And it seems like they probably should have lost at least 3 or 4. And all those games have controversial calls in them. And we're just acting like, it's the Chiefs. They're magic. They just find a way to win. And it's like, do they, or like the rest bailing them out? What do you think, Keegan?
About the particular Mahomes?
Yeah.
You talk about the one where he...
Yeah, what did you think about the fumble?
Welcome to the conversation, Keegan.
Yeah, welcome to the conversation, Keegan.
So truthfully, actually, I was just looking at the clip just to make sure I had actually seen it.
He's doing some stuff.
So, yes, I did see that one in the game itself. I kind of felt like the arm was going forward for a pass myself when I saw it in the game, and then they kind of called it back, and they said, well, maybe they should have a look at that again. But
my thing is the arm was definitely going forward. But we also have watched football for a long time now.
I don't know if it's definitely going forward.
I don't throw the ball like this.
Yeah.
Or like this and pat it. Like, I don't know.
It pushed out of his hand.
Yeah.
It's close.
Because your elbow's getting hit. He lost the ball, and it just kept going. Again, when I watched it live, I was like, I'll give him the incomplete pass. When I watched it in slow motion, I'm like, He wasn't throwing the ball.
I think what you were getting at, though, is that the refs throw the flag for the personal foul, not because they almost saw the personal foul. It was almost like, oops, Patrick Mahomes just made a mistake. Let's throw a flag so we can slow this down and look at it and see if there's any way we can bail him out. That's how it feels to me.
Yeah, because to be fair, if it was a fumble, it's no longer a fumble because it's a personal foul.
Yeah.
But the actual hit that knocks the ball loose isn't even the one that caused the personal foul. It was the other guy getting held by 74 who was going backwards with him.
Well, I don't know. Who knows? We'll see how it all plays out. But I think right now, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're kind of glad you're getting these calls or whatever the case may be. But could end up biting you in the butt because I think there's got to be a time.
Chiefs fans' favorite thing is a whistle or a flag? Like their favorite thing for Christmas?
If you talk to a Chiefs fan, they swear none of those are even close to controversial. They're just like, no, that's clearly a forward pass.
Well, when you only watch your team, it's delusional.
No, yeah, exactly. No, exactly.
Watch a real game. Watch another game.
In that game, the Texans, they lose Tank Dell. That's brutal for them.
Oh, that was so
they
sad.
signed Deontay Johnson. That's Keegan's guy. But what do you think? I mean, they lost Diggs. They lost Tank Dell. I mean, this was a team that was, hopefully going to make a little run here. Give these guys a tough time in the AFC. Are the Texans, are they kind of out of it? I mean, like if they can't get some wide receiver help. Deontay Johnson just got cut from, who was he playing for? Baltimore. Yeah. They said he wasn't even getting along with guys of the team. They play these guys?
Revenge game.
Oh, a revenge game. Since he never suited up for them even once.
Yeah. He suited up. He just sat on the bench.
Yeah,
I don't want to play.
Yeah, but, that's a brutal injury for them, their wide receiving core, because, C.J. Stroud and, the Texans, I think they were looking to have a big year.
Tank Dell's second serious injury now in 2 years.
Yeah.
On a lower leg injury. And it came out today. It was actually an ACL tear also now.
Yeah, he's out for the season. So, any thoughts on the Texans? I mean, you think that's devastating for them? Or you think it's just something like with Deontay Johnson and like they can move past this? I feel like if it's like you lose like a wide receiver and a running back, then you have the backups for those positions who are pretty capable, right? But you lose your number one wide receiver and then your number two wide receiver. Now your wide receivers out there are 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, but their number one came back. Yeah. Nico Collins came back.
Yeah, Nico Collins.
So he is coming back.
Well, and Diggs.
And Diggs was there.
He was having a great season.
He was. I think Deontay Johnson might be a blessing in disguise for these guys because we all kind of were like confused when he got picked up by the Ravens in the first place. Like, what? That made no sense. Like, what are they going to use him for? I just didn't think that was a good fit. And obviously, it wasn't a good fit. But I think this is a better fit for him.
Yeah. No, yeah. He's going to play no matter what, just due to urgency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wanted to talk about the Kirk Cousins drama. Kirk Cousins, obviously, there's some crazy stuff going on over there in Atlanta. That was a big time chunk. And Ryan, I know you guys were high on those guys beginning of the season. They're still in the playoff mix. They're probably going to make the playoffs. That worst division in the NFL, their division. I mean, with the Buccaneers, Panthers,
right there
Saints,
with the NFC West.
And
NFC West is pretty close too.
Yeah, NFC West pretty bad. Yeah, NFC West pretty bad too. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the Rams the last 2 weeks haven't even scored what they scored 3 weeks ago against the Bills. Like,
I know, it's
so
interesting.
freaking confused.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's kind of hard to put a thumb on the NFC West there. But what do you guys think? This is a pretty big deal here. I mean, they signed him to a huge contract. They were 7-7 under Cousins, but the head coach Raheem Morris made a change after Atlanta's win over the Raiders, and he saw a lot of maligned offensive drives with Cousins under center. That's pretty ballsy to make that choice at the end of the season here when you paid this guy
$90 million.
Well,
that's what it's going to come out to.
Yeah, because they're going to save $10 million if they cut him before. But yeah, the deal was $180 million for 4 years, $100 million guaranteed. They're going to get 10 of that back, and a $50 million signing bonus. So for how many games have been played this year? Like 15?
15.
And they paid him
a game.
$6 million.
Good for Kirk Cousins.
If you're sitting in the stands at an Atlanta game this season, while you were there over the course of 3 hours, one man there made $6 million to play that game. It kind of blows your mind when you think about it that way, right?
Yeah, and then he was on that quarterback show, and all that stuff, and it was kind of funny because his wife dresses him before every game. And he's balling.
So, Adam, if they cut him after this season, they'll still be on the hook for $90 million in dead cap that they'll have to spread either over 1 year or 2 years.
Yeah. So what was the thought process there? Like, let's dig into that. I don't understand. Like, they signed Kirk Cousins to a huge deal, 4 years, $180 million, and then right after that they draft Michael Penix with the 7th pick in the draft. How does that even make sense?
And then Cousins comes out and balls out for the first month, and then does the Cousins things and hits a lull.
Yeah.
And then he starts to play okay, and they're like, just take a seat.
I think they already signed him to the big contract as soon as free agent hit, and then they actually saw him, and they're like, I don't think he's got 4 years in him. Mm-hmm. And then that's why they used that such high draft pick to take Penix.
Because he was coming off of an ACL, right?
When they signed him and they never even saw him in a football uniform.
Hurried up and we're the Falcons. We think we can win now. Let's throw money at a quarterback.
Do you ever think when I saw this, I thought Arthur Blank's getting kind of old? Do you think like if you're older, you're like Jerry Jones or Arthur Blank or something like that? You're like, I know this is dumb money decision, but like I'm not gonna make it forever, dude. Like just sign him, dude. That's what I think they do sometimes. There's
no doubt.
This makes no sense whatsoever. Even on draft day, it made no sense. There was no way to like kind of rationalize this as a good move. Like you just said, there's dead cap space. Now, if they wanted to sign free agents to potentially help this Penix kid out, they're hamstrung by that.
And they had to make this move because in his last 5 starts, he had 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions.
Yeah,
they were 1-4 in that time. They've beaten Tampa both of their matchups this season, and to make the playoffs, they had to make this move.
It's just tough though because now there's no going backwards. Like they're going to cut him. There's no safety blanket, so the Penix kid has to be good.
A lot of pressure on him.
Yeah,
for sure.
He threw an interception.
Yeah. What do you think?
Touchdown.
What do you think about the situation over there?
Well, I think
they still won by 4.
I think they fell into the trap that we've had a few teams do. I mean, the Broncos when they brought over Russell Wilson, the Jets when they brought over Aaron Rodgers, kind of thinking like someone who's had success, maybe they think that they've got sort of the foundation there to kick on and get a little bit further. But, you are getting these guys kind of out of their prime and it's showing up. Like Ryan said, he had kind of a nice start to the season. I think both the Buccaneer games, he just completely smashed, right? Mm-hmm. But then as he's progressed through, as Josh said, it's just kind of dipped down, and they've made a mistake there. Hopefully Penix will be someone for the future for them, but I mean, we have to get a look at him.
Yeah, that's just so insane, making that kind of signing, and then it not working out. I saw that, Cousins, he was a professional. They prayed right before the game. He gave him a pat on the back. He wished him luck and stuff like that. But
they said he's really doing in other words, being a big cheerleader for him over there and really helping him out. But heck, I'd help him out too, making $6 million a game. Knowing that I'm going to be on another team next year, still making my money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just seems like
Steelers are going to get him again for a cheap one.
Steelers are going to get Cousins?
Yeah, just like they did this year. They took all the offload where they don't have to pay those guys, but league minimum 1.5 veterans. And they're like, oh, there's another one out there. Let's go get him.
No, yeah, for sure. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. We'll see. I mean, we're going to see what the decision does. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be in a playoff game.
The best thing that happened yesterday was Penix. He did turn the ball over, but he managed the game.
Yeah.
And he didn't destroy the game. They win the game, and then the Bucs lose the game last night.
Yeah.
So it puts them back in the number 1 spot, and it looks like a great decision. I don't think he played a great game.
No, not
his
at all.
numbers don't look great. He just managed it.
He just turned it over less than the Giants.
Do you think they saw what happened with Bo Nix and they're just like, that
I would definitely start him against the Giants. Yeah. Like, hey, if this is the game we're going to take a change, we got to do it right now.
Yeah. Like, get his confidence.
I'm actually surprised they didn't start him the week before against the Raiders, and we had him 2 weeks against the 2 worst teams in the league.
Yeah, get him some experience, maybe get his confidence up. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It's crazy. We talk about all the time about these deals and some of the contracts that they give these guys, and to just do that and then to cut him after one season just seems like insane to me. But even Russell Wilson got a longer leash than this. So his Cousins done? He's not coming back next season?
He has to be done.
He's done in the NFL?
No, I don't think.
Somebody will sign him like a Flacco.
Niners might even take him as a backup.
Yeah, Niners as a backup. What's his name's wanted? Shanahan's wanted him for a while.
I hope it doesn't happen. But with the Raiders winning a game yesterday somehow, that drops us to the 6th spot now. So we're now at a competition again for a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we are going to go to commercial break. Come on back for the 3rd segment. Huddle Up on 93Q. I'm Adam Avalos with eXp Realty. I'm a born and raised 3rd-generation Yuba Sutter resident who has lived in the area all my life. My office is located at 1429 Calusa Highway in Yuba City, providing commercial and residential services to Yuba Sutter and Butte counties. Whether you are buying or selling, I promise to treat you and your friends and family like my friends and family. More information about Adam Avalos Realtor can be obtained by phone at 530-933-3541 or by following Adam Avalos Realtor on Instagram or Facebook.
From community-supported 93Q, here's your local weather forecast. Tonight, our skies will be mostly cloudy with a good chance of showers and a temperature of around 57, and winds will be from the southeast at around 14 and gusting as high as 28 miles an hour. Then a good chance of showers tomorrow with a high near 59, and winds will be from the southwest at around 10 miles an hour with gusts as high as 20 miles an hour. And Christmas will be partly sunny with a high near 53. By tomorrow night, the chances for precipitation should begin to taper off, and we'll have partly cloudy skies and calm winds. Then partly sunny skies are expected for Christmas Day. Look for our afternoon temperatures to range from the mid to upper 50s through the end of the week, with lows in the 40s. And the next chance for showers will come on Thursday. This weather forecast is made possible by Yuba Water Agency at yubawater.org, investing in Yuba County and providing breathtaking recreational opportunities at New Bullets Bar Reservoir. For 93Q Community Radio, I'm Kurt Baird. Thanks for listening and have a good evening.
Welcome back to Huddle Up. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Third segment here, Huddle Up on 93Q. We are going to jump into Cool Kids Club. This is a segment every single week that we do on the show where we take one player from the week of games and we initiate them into the Cool Kids Club. Really, really, really awesome thing that we do here every single week. It's very prestigious. If you want in, you just got to play lights out. Ryan, who you got? Who is your cool kid of the week?
I always have a couple written down, but I think I'm just going to go with the one that I wrote down right off the bat.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor redeeming his bad week last week. 29 carries, 218 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Running back for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, he balled out that game. I mean, those are great numbers for a running back. I mean, most running backs can't even get over 100 yards. Let alone 1 touchdown.
They're still in the mix, too, 7-8, and they are not out yet.
Nope.
So they'll still be fighting.
They're still there.
Josh, who you got? Who's your cool kid of the week?
Well, I got a couple of them, a couple of quarterback wide receiver duos because I love game-winning drives. It was nice watching Darnold and Jefferson take Seattle out in Seattle yesterday. Always nice to see them lose.
Yep, absolutely.
And then Daniel and Jamison Crowder yesterday. Jamison Crowder has been out most of the year and kind of...
Yeah, 2 touchdowns that game.
Yeah, 2. Mm-hmm. In the game-winning one with 10 seconds left to go, and... Yeah, it was just really cool to see them go down the field and win that game as well after they turned the ball over 5 times and still found a way to win it. Beat Philadelphia, who had won 10 games in a row.
Yeah, for sure. Jaden Daniels throwing 5 touchdowns yesterday, including a game winner with 6 seconds left. Pretty impressive performance. He's probably going to win Rookie of the Year, huh, Jaden Daniels?
Yep.
Yeah,
it was a good chance. I mean, coming into the week, he, I think, was second.
Yeah. Where's your boy Bowers?
He was number 1 coming into the week, but Jaden Daniels definitely had a good week.
Yeah, anytime you're a quarterback, you're going to get...
And when you're playing for something, too, it means a little bit more down the stretch.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck
I also feel like that game, I mean... I give him that he got the game-winning drive, and that was a good game. But I watched that entire game, and that game, to me, I don't think was a game if you haven't, injuries are part of the game. That injury was kind of different for me, watching Hurts come, give the thumbs up, and then they get in back in the huddle, and then, no, timeout, go get checked. And then he comes out of the huddle, gets his helmet back on, standing on the sideline to go back in. No, go back. It's like, whoa, what's going on
What's the latest with Hurts?
Just concussion.
Yeah, concussion. So he might miss this next week. They said, right?
They were rolling the Commanders before that happened. Yeah, it was second drive of the game.
Not a bad backup. Kenny Pickett looked pretty good.
But there's definitely a marked difference in their offense though between the two.
Kenny Pickett looked okay because he had such a big lead.
Yeah.
He didn't do very good.
Yeah. So you're saying that you feel like if Hurts wouldn't have got injured yesterday, Eagles probably win that game.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. So Washington, they're a young team, rookie quarterback, stuff like that. This is a growing pains. You're not supposed to just come in like our boy and just win the league in the first year. We're going to talk about fantasy football in a second. Keegan, who do you got? Who is your cool kid for this week?
So I'm going to go with the chap from that game as well, Saquon Barkley, who's obviously had a great season. 29 rush attempts, 150 rush yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He was again massive.
Again, I watched that game. He had 109 yards by the first quarter.
Yeah.
But at that point, Hurts goes down. Game plan changes.
They stack the box.
They start stacking the box. You start being able to game plan for Saquon and stopping him. And he ended up only having, I think, 42 yards after that.
Yeah.
So Washington definitely made some good adjustments. But Philly just could not change that defense. They could not turn around the offense, and that lead just was not big enough for them to be able to go against that.
Yeah, no, for sure. That could be a potential playoff matchup. They might meet again, in the playoffs. They're division rivals, and hopefully Hurts gets healthy because we need to see him. The Eagles, they got a good team this year. Now that they got Saquon, it's a piece that they were probably missing, and so the Eagles, they're going to be tough and in it to the very end. My guy was Dre Greenlaw. Big props to him. He doesn't even need to be playing right now, but every single week he's trying to suit up. We talked about it earlier, free agents that the Niners have. He needs to be numero uno, besides Brock Purdy, obviously, if they're going to re-sign him, but they have to get Greenlaw back. I love even Fred Warner, and I think Fred Warner, I guess if I had to choose one of the two, I'd choose Warner, but every team needs kind of a heart and soul, and Greenlaw's that guy.
The thing is I've had Fred Warner since we were going to talk fantasy. I've had him as my defensive player all year.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, these last 2 weeks, his production's gone up because of Greenlaw.
Yeah, of course.
They make each other better.
They make each other better.
He gets to do his thing. It's the same way with Bosa. When Bosa's there, he takes a lot of guys off of him. I think both guys have been having some trouble because the Niners are so injured up front in the middle. But yeah, Greenlaw, he's awesome, and I'd love to see him and Warner. You don't get to see that too often, where two linebackers just get to play with each other for years and years. And I like the combo of those two guys.
Yeah, it's a great combo.
Yeah, we're going to segue into fantasy football a little bit here. Not going to talk about it too much because all of us here sitting at this table, we're all in the same league and we're all eliminated. But a guy that you can't see, a guy behind the microphone over here running the board for us, he's in it. He's in the championship game. We made it this far, Chunk. Chunk's never won in our league. We've been playing for over a decade, probably 13, 14, 15 years now or something. Me and Josh were OGs in it and stuff like that. And so, Chunk, you're in the championship. You're playing a rookie. Everybody's rooting for you. You can't let a rookie who joined our league. We had one new guy join this year. One guy left. We had a newbie, and the newbie came in, and he got first in our league, and he's in the championship versus Chunk. Chunk, what are you going to do?
Hopefully beat him.
Yeah, hopefully beat him.
I feel like because he's brand new and he's already made it this far, he's just destined to win it. Come in and
that's the Raider mentality. Sorry to tell you that. Hey, but you did tell Robert newbies don't get paid the payout; they just get the trophy, right?
Yeah, that's it. The payout goes back into a
it's a free buy-in for everyone. I thought that's what I remember on the text message.
Yeah, exactly.
Did everybody else see that text message? I saw it.
We need to do something for rookies, though. It seems like if he wins it, I'll just be like, oh man, no, he's a good guy. Nothing personal to him at all. Personally, I really, really like him. I just we've all played for so long. I'm like, gosh, this guy come in 1 year. I tell him this is a pretty good league, and
he's like, this is easy.
He's like, I have a tougher time against AI avatar. You know what I mean? But no, our league's really competitive. We have a lot of fun. We've been playing for a long time. So congratulations, Chunk. All rooting for you. I don't know if everybody is. Who are you rooting for, Keegan? Come on, put it on record.
I wasn't rooting for him.
Because Keegan and Robert are really, really
I wasn't rooting for him. He just beat me up pretty good.
You're rooting for Robert?
No, I don't. You know what? I don't even care anymore.
You don't?
I got to play for third place.
Yeah, I just don't want a rookie coming in and slamming this.
I need that buy-in back.
I think, I am good friends with Robert, and then I've obviously been playing with Chunk for quite a while.
Though, huh?
I think we've probably got to back out Chep over here.
Yeah, come on, Chunk.
I will say, I was talking to Chunk before the show started. What I like about his team is almost 90% of his team that's currently playing, he drafted.
Yeah, that's good. Not a lot
stuck with him,
and it stuck with him.
Yeah.
He's made some moves, but his starting has been his starting lineup for a while. And the only reason I know that so well is because I think you were drafting right around where I drafted, and you picked a lot of my players.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Well, good luck, Chunk. I hope you win the championship. The trophy is awesome. Who knows? Maybe Keegan can bring the trophy next week, so we can. Yeah. Well, I guess if Robert wins it, he won't be here. But just so we can all have a look at it. It's like where my name is. It's been so many years ago. I kind of forgot. There's dust on my plaque. It's been so long ago.
If I do,
it's all right. I'm not even on that plaque.
I'm going to be very obnoxious about it.
Are you?
All year long if I win.
If you win,
if I win, I'm going to be super obnoxious. I'm going to walk around with the trophy for probably.
All right, Robert. Let's take it to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Rob.
Yeah, now we're all rooting for.
Because we don't even know. I don't even talk to Robert, so I won't hear about it.
Well, all right. We got so much stuff that we want to get to before the episode is over. Got about 15 minutes left, but wanted to talk to you guys about the playoff race. I kind of thought this was going to be a more interesting topic, but it's kind of like the playoffs are already decided, pretty much now. I mean, some of these teams are on the outside and they can make it in. So,
the NFC isn't really set like the AFC is. The AFC is pretty much set in stone.
It's just two divisions. though.
Well, NFC's kind of set too, but 6 and 7 seed, the only ones that are at risk for losing out of the playoffs. 6 seed is the Chargers, 7 seed is the Broncos, and they are both 9 and 6. The Indianapolis Colts, Miami Dolphins, and Cincinnati Bengals are all 7 and 8. They'd have to win out, and those teams would have to lose out, and then some other stuff would have to happen too. And so the playoffs are kind of set. Like if you're Indy, Miami, or the Bengals, you're pretty much out. It's very,
that's
very
what I mean.
slim.
Like AFC is pretty much set. The NFC, because there's some division still up for grab, they're not set in stone yet over there, so there's still either or.
But even that 5 of the spots are set.
In the AFC, Colts, Dolphins, Bengals. If one of those teams were to get in, and you're wanting to choose the most competitive of those 3 teams that you think will give anybody the best run, who do you choose? Bengals, Dolphins, Colts. Bengals. Who you like, Ryan?
I like the Bengals, but they're the worst percentage to get in.
Who you like, Keek?
I would say out of those 3, the Bengals as well.
The Bengals too. I'd love to see the Bengals. I feel like don't give Burrow a chance, man. Don't let him play with house money, Yeah. Just got to get them out of there. On to the NFC. NFC kind of a little bit similar. Green Bay playing tonight and Washington. They're 10-4 and 10-5 respectively. They're the only ones that could potentially lose out. I guess the Atlanta Falcons could also be bounced by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it looks like. Mm-hmm. But the only teams that could potentially bump any team that's currently in are the 9th place Seattle Seahawks and 8th place Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They can't make a wild card. They can only make the division.
They can only win their division, those 2 teams. And so any of those 2 teams, Tampa Bay or Seattle, you think could make a splash? Would you love to see them get in over Green Bay and the Washington Commanders?
I would like to see the Bucs over the Falcons.
Bucks over Falcons.
Yeah.
You think that's like a better bracket? Like if we're just going for the most competitive bracket possible.
Bucks are simply more entertaining.
Yeah, you're right.
They've got Baker. They've got Mike Evans. They've got a few players on defense.
Baker could. I don't think they are. We all talk about it. We all think they're going to one and done it. But Baker could be, and that would be so.
They'll be fun to watch.
Did you see that last play last night was like total Baker Mayfield like emotions all wrapped. I mean, he was down. They was chugging, he throws the ball, you're like, oh, he didn't take the sack. The guy runs and then he gets stripped fumble, and like Baker's like, what?
Yeah.
What just happened? He's like, I got out of my thing. What happened?
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Keegan? Seattle, Tampa Bay, they're on the outside right now. Would you like to see one of those guys in?
I agree with the guys. I'd like to see Tampa go in. I think that they do play an exciting brand of football. Occasionally, like Ryan just said, some things go horribly wrong for them, but they definitely are exciting. Baker is giving it his all every single time he goes out there. Yeah. I thought that was super disappointing yesterday. I really hope that they would come back and win it. But
another team just decimated by injuries that are, could be so much better if they actually had their players there.
Well, you had Godwin, and he was just killing it.
Yeah, he was
and then their tight end wasn't playing last night.
Yeah. K. Dotton,
yeah. Largely anonymous though, since Evans has come back.
Yeah.
Evans has been massive for them.
And McMillan's taken on a role as well.
Yeah, yes. And then that pick. Off of him was heartbreaking too.
Yeah, they had 2 heartbreaking turnovers at the end of the game.
Still 21-0 in this Monday Night Football game. Packers are up. That's good for them. So they'll probably go on to win this game unless the
That's
Saints
a scary team right there walking into the playoffs.
Packers?
They can beat anyone anywhere.
I wouldn't want to play them.
I would not. Yeah, I would not be wanting to see them, and they're going to be probably sitting at the 6th spot because of their division.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're a team. There's honestly to me the NFC West. Maybe it's not as good as the AFC, like in a whole, like the playoff picture. Like the teams are probably better in the AFC, but the NFC is no slouch either. I mean, a lot of these teams, like the Rams, the Vikings, even the Commanders, like these teams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. These are teams that can sling it, and they're going to try.
NFC has a league that's a division that gets 3 in. And I think the AFC also is going to have a division that gets 3 in.
Yeah, the Steelers.
The AFC West.
The AFC West has 3 of their 4 teams are getting in.
Yeah.
And then the NFC North is getting 3 of their 4.
Yeah, good divisions. Good divisions. I mean, even the Bears are not terrible. You know what I mean? They're not garbage. They just played in pretty good division, 4-11. But anyways, that's what we kind of think about the playoffs as it sits right now. We'll see in the next 2 weeks if anything changes. I can't remember a time when it's been so kind of anticlimactic with this 2 weeks left to go. Yep. I mean, normally there's like games where it's coming down to the wire on the last week of the season.
The last week still has a pretty good NFC matchup.
Does it?
The Lions versus the Vikings will probably come down to whoever wins that game is going to take the number 1 spot, and then the other one's falling to wild card.
Yeah, that's
Rams
huge.
and Seattle play that week too.
That's huge that the Vikings were able to get it because, well, they play in a dome too. But
the Rams Seattle could be a matchup that we're going to be watching for, depending on how this week goes. I mean, if Seattle loses, then it's done, and the Rams win, or vice versa, right? I mean, there is a potential, but it looks like the Vikings and the Lions are going to have to come down to that last week.
Yeah.
Which is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
They can't take it off. Nope.
Wanted to get into the fire alarm. This is a segment where every single week where we pull a fire alarm on a certain individual, team, a coach, a manager, anything you want. You can pretty much just pull the fire alarm on them. This is a list that you do not want to be on weekly. This means that you're doing something no bueno. I'm going to go first because it's a division that we were just talking about, but I got to go with the Cardinals, man. They had it right there in the palm of their hands. I mean, they had the entire division and everybody was kind of flailing underneath them. They just had to win games. Yesterday, they played the Carolina Panthers. That's got to be a winnable game. Can you imagine your whole season comes down to playing the Panthers and the Panthers eliminate you? No bueno. That's not good.
The Panthers have been playing some good football lately.
No, for sure. And they can come in.
Surprisingly.
It's the NFL.
Compared to the Panthers of the first 7 weeks.
It's the NFL.
Yeah.
But more so, my fire alarm isn't just botching it this year, but where do they go from here? Where do the Cardinals go from here? They got a Kyler Murray problem, You either have Kyler Murray and, because you don't have a lot of other pieces, Kyler Murray can then keep you in some games, win some football games for you. But the type of quarterback that he is not probably the type that's going to win you a championship or anything. He's just kind of a gimmicky player. I likened him to, I'm a Chicago Bulls fan, and we have Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine's good. He could score. He can take over games some nights. But as far as being like a team player and making the Bulls better, he does not. And so the Bulls know that they're not winning a championship with him. They just have him because he's flashy and he puts people in the seats. That's where I think the Cardinals are now. But this was probably closest they're going to get. I mean, Harrison could get better. There's some guys on their team that are young that could progress over the seasons. But the Cardinals, they got to rethink kind of what they're doing as far as a team. What do you think, Keegan? Who you got? Who you pulling the fire alarm on?
So for me, it's actually on the NFL itself, and specifically on these double headers on Monday.
You don't like them,
I really don't like them. So they've done 4 this year, which is the most they've done.
Yeah.
That's only the way that some teams get to play Monday night.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess, but I'll be honest. I'm probably one of those guys who does end up watching a Jaguars-Raiders game. I like watching the games.
Yeah.
But when you have 2 on at the same time, it's like you just really can't watch it. It's like, do you jump to one? Do you jump to this one? It's such a waste for me. So they haven't actually released the viewership to these games, but one of them, I don't know if you guys remember the Cardinals-Chargers game they put on ESPN Plus, 1.8 million viewers.
So not a lot.
For an NFL game. I mean, the NFL games generally set the viewership records during the year. It's like top 10 NFL.
I like that idea.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I like them when they're spread out. I don't mind a Saturday game every once in a while. The schedule this week is like crazy. I want to see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, I don't really care for this week's schedule.
No, but I do. If they're spread out, they're fine. But I get what he's saying. If they're like on top of each other, that just seems silly.
Yeah, but this particular week, I get what they're trying to do with the Christmas games and stuff like that. But man, these guys are only getting a 4-day rest. You're not getting good football with a 4-day rest. You can't even game plan that fast.
On Christmas, we got Kansas City at Pittsburgh at 10 in the morning, Baltimore at Houston. So on Christmas Day, there's 2 games right there.
2 games that are big games.
And then the day after Christmas, Thursday night football, they're still doing that, is Seattle at Chicago. And then Saturday, there's 3 games. Los Angeles at New England, Denver at Cincinnati, and Arizona at Los Angeles.
Sounds like the players should talk to their union.
Yeah, yeah. I like the game spread out, but this is a little bit much. There's a lot of football.
I get the Christmas game. Do 1 game.
Yeah,
do 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Middle of the day,
Middle of the day or mid-afternoon for us West Coast people.
No, for sure. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Keegan. Josh, what do you got? Who is your fire alarm player of the week?
Well, I'm taking the whole team. I'm taking Tampa because your main opponent for the division just changed quarterbacks from a $180 million guy to a rookie, and they're basically in one little way waving the white flag, saying if you're good enough to win the division, it's yours. And then they go out and lay an egg to a team that's not really trying to win. I mean, you can't do that if the division's on the line. You got to find a way to win that game.
Doesn't it blow your mind, though? Like we were just talking about the Cardinals. How do the Cardinals, who are fighting for a spot, go out and play the Panthers, who should be like booking trips to Cabo, and lose? Mm-hmm. Like the Cardinals came in with all the motivation, right? And I mean, the Panthers might have wanted to play spoiler, but you just wouldn't imagine that could even happen. But it happens all the time.
Same with Tampa. You're in the driver's seat for your division, and you went and just handed it back to Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly.
2 games left to play.
Yeah, they had a good shot at it, and hopefully they get in, because I think we all agree that they would be the best in the playoffs. So you got Ryan.
I was actually going to be piggybacking on yours. I actually took Kyler Murray as my fire alarm. I mean, he's lost 4 games in the last 5, which points to your point. They were just collapsing over there. 6 picks in the last 4 games. He's just not producing over there right now.
Yeah, he's probably one of those guys that thinks, because he is so talented, he probably thinks that the problem is not him. But until he learns to play quarterback a different way,
he's got to be able to see over the lineman too. So he's got to roll out a little bit more.
But we see this all the time. Guys like him, like they'll be good for a bevy of years, but he's going to lose his speed, and then he's also not going to keep taking those hits. And so if he doesn't figure out a way to kind of transform himself, I mean, he's probably got a short life in the NFL.
Well, what I've noticed about Kyler is it seems like if the game isn't going his way early on, he can pretty much detach himself from it mentally and just be gone and not play well, and it affects the whole entire team.
Yeah.
No, that new Call of Duty did come out.
What's that?
He's a big Call of Duty guy.
Last time when he got busted he was playing too much Call of Duty. They had to put that in his contract that he must study.
Weren't there players getting hurt from playing Guitar Hero?
Yeah, that was like baseball guys. That one guy. Before we get out of here, we are going to go really, really quickly. Segment we call Who Is Your Dog? That's where we choose an underdog from this week's games. Vegas Sportsbook underdog. Let's go around the table real quick. Ryan, who you got? Who is your dog?
I wrote 3 down. I'm just trying to pick the best
Ryan's always got like 3, 4, 5.
You got to throw them out because 2. What if you pick mine? It sounds like we just agree all the time, right?
It's okay to agree every once in a while.
I'm going to throw it out there. I think the Panthers are going to do it again. I think they're going to beat the Bucs.
Oh, Panthers beat the Bucs. All right, I like that one. Who you got?
I got the Cowboys over Philly because last time they played, Cowboys got thoroughly embarrassed, and Philly let them know about it. So I think they're going to come out this week.
I like that pick. I just, I want Hurts to be back and be comfortable.
I know.
I think if he's back, it's a whole other game.
Cowboys are looking
good right now.
It's one that I don't really want, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Really want it, but I'm forced to choose.
I'm going to say the Broncos over the Bengals.
The Broncos over the Bengals?
I think the Broncos' defense has been good this season. They obviously got their backsides handed to them this last week. But I think they'll come back strongly. They'll hold Burrow in, and I think
they also got beat by a divisional game. So divisional games are always a whole different party out there.
Yeah, and that's one that both of them need. Bengals need to stay alive mathematically, and the Broncos mathematically. Keyword mathematically.
For our statistical people out
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh over the Chiefs on Christmas. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh over the Chiefs. I think they got a shot.
I love that pick.
I think the Chiefs. They're just. I don't know, man. They're not my favorite, so I'm always rooting. Whoever the Chiefs play for the rest of the season, that's who my dog is. That's who I'm rooting for. That's who I'm throwing all my money on. Thank you guys so much. To our sponsors, Young Champs, thank you guys so much. Couldn't do the show without our wonderful sponsors, but from everybody here at the show, I hope you guys all have a wonderful Christmas. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas this week, guys.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Huddle Up, 93 Q.